everybody, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lena, and this is Library of Diamonds. And in today's video, we actually have a WIP and CHAT. It's been a while since I last did a WIP and CHAT. I checked, and it's been 3 weeks. I was meaning to upload a WIP and CHAT, I think last week. I don't know. I don't remember what happened really. And then I wanted to upload it on Monday, but yeah, as you can hear, well, I don't know how well you can hear it, but my voice is kind of nasally. I was down with a cold like turbo. Let me turn off the fan because I think it's going to be quite loud. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I was down sick and all that, but it is what it is, I guess. So let's start. I am working on a kit called Pixelware. I have no idea where I left the sticker sheet. I know it has to be somewhere, but honestly, I don't know exactly where. I looked for it before I started doing this video, but I couldn't for the life of me find it. Hopefully when I finish it, I can find it so that I can put it in my logbook, you know? But until then, we'll see. I am right now about to start the 4th section of the 3rd row. This one has only 4 rows because it's a 50 by 50, and it really doesn't need more than 4 rows. And each row has 4 sections. Also, this kit has a is very heavy on color blocking, and it's a round. So in theory, this could have been worked on like quite fast, but it actually didn't. I don't remember exactly when I started this, but I think the next day or 2 days after I started this one, I got my mystery from the Crafter's Den, which I finished in like, I don't know, a week or 2 weeks. I don't remember necessarily. But that I finished, the Crafter's Den mystery, the summer mystery, I finished on October 3rd, which is 5 days ago. And since then, the only progress that I've been able to make has been 3 sections. 3.5 sections, I would say, because I was very, very sick. I became very, very sick. It started basically with a little, my throat started to hurt a little. And after that, I was like, no, I think it's going to be fine. And then the next morning, my throat was hurting even more. And so I started taking some ibuprofen. At the beginning, I thought I had given myself strep throat because I did something very, very silly. My thoughts on, as I said, my initial idea of me giving myself strep throat is because I have a water flosser that I use 1 or 2 times a week. I don't use it every day. And I use it to clean, my gums instead of using dental floss, like the regular dental floss. I use the water floss, and I love it. It really is nice to get all the gunk out. And also, I use it to clean my tonsil crypts. In your tonsils, you have like this little crypts that go inside, and a lot of gunk gets in there as well. And at least for me, that causes me to have bad breath. And so I usually since I got the water floss, I use a water floss as well to just flush out all the stones. And it's very easy, very simple. It's a very straightforward thing. But that day in particular, I had just cleaned my my gums, and for some reason I skipped my what's the name? Amygdalae? No, my tonsils. I missed my tonsils, and I was like, whatever. I don't think it's that bad. But then later that same day, like at night, I was like, no, yeah, I actually do need to clean my tonsils. And so it was late already, and I didn't want to get the water flosser out because you have to, after you use it, you have to clean it, you have to let it air dry for it not to get all moldy and stuff. And I just was not up for it. Honestly, I was tired, I was stressed, and I didn't have the energy, but I did want to clean my tonsils. And so I used something, and I'm sorry if this is gross, I'm sorry. So I used what I usually did use before I got the flosser, the water floss, the water flosser. Is that a thing? I don't know. Which is this little kind of spoon looking things that basically you scrape everything out and then you do a mouthwash, and that's the way that I typically use to clean my tonsils. The thing is that since I was very lazy, I didn't properly clean them before using them. And that's one of the reasons why I thought I had given myself strep throat, because I said maybe there was something in there, because mind you, we have strep in all of our body. Strep and staph, we have it all over our body. It's just a matter of where it gets that it causes different things. Usually like in skin and stuff, it like nothing happens, but there are other places where things happen. One of them is, your mouth, your throat and stuff. But moving forward, that was like my theory. And that's what I thought I had given myself, strep throat, because I was like, oh my God, I'm so stupid. But whatever, I'm just gonna write myself a prescription and get my antibiotics, and then that's it. But then later during the day, I wanted to wait until I saw the little plaque that has to form and all that, but it never did. And then I don't really get sick often with colds and stuff, but when I do, I get them hard, like really, really, really hard. Even if they're just, viral and, a common, regular, typical, whatever-ish cold. And I started to get some fever. My tonsils were still clean. And I was like, yeah, this is not a strep. This is not strep. I recognize this. This is something viral. And typically I get influenza every now and then, even with the vaccine. And mind you, the vaccine is not going to keep influenza from getting into your body. The vaccine is to prevent some of the deadly complications of influenza, such as pneumonia and other sort of like the spread of this infection into more important organs or more vital organs. Not that not all organs are important. So for one, I still don't have the vaccine because here in Mexico it typically is started to be provided in clinics and stuff in October, like mid-October, and usually goes first, the first rounds go to medical personnel and doctors, and I don't work anymore in a hospital. I am freelance entirely, absolutely, and so I do not have that luxury. And also because I don't see in-person patients, I'm not high in the list of who has to get it. So I have not gotten it as of right now. I have not gotten it. So I'm pretty sure it was influenza. I didn't go to see a doctor or anything because I was like, I just need to sleep it out. It's fine. I don't need a certificate that I have it because I work for myself. So I was just like, yeah, just some symptomatic medication and, try to go by. So the symptoms, like the really annoying symptoms, started on Friday in the afternoon. And I was really worried because the next day, on Saturday, we were going to have lunch with was it Saturday? Sunday? No, it wasn't Saturday when I started to feel kind of achy. And I was worried because on Sunday we were going to have lunch with my mother-in-law, with my boyfriend's mom, because her birthday was on Monday. And she invited us to a buffet that we really, really love. So, we were all going to be spending time with her and all that. And I was really worried because even like my relationship with my mother-in-law is not like very close-knit, but because they're very kind of serious, not serious, more like their personality is like my boyfriend's family side personality, like her mom and siblings, they're very like closed off and stuff, but not in a mean way. It's just part of their personality. But whenever I see them, like we have a great relationship. We have a good conversations and all that. It's just not that close knit, typical relationship that you might sometimes think or imagine you could have. But yeah, I really wanted to go because I really like her. I really like my boyfriend's brother. So I was like, dang, I really want to go. I just really, really hope that I don't die, basically. And during the day, I just took some, as I said, medication for symptoms. I took something for my nose congestion because I was starting to get really congested, and some ibuprofen for my fever and my headache and my joint pain. And by the time that we were meant to go, I was feeling, decent. I was not feeling great. I was not in my 100%. I think I never am because of my chronic things, but I was feeling like almost normal. The only thing that I believe could be said that I was not in my best shape was probably that my voice sounded kind of like this, like kind of nasally. But that was it. But I was actually afraid the previous day because at night, the previous night, my voice got hoarse. I almost lost my voice and I was like, dang it, whoopsies. I think I'm gonna, it might go away. But no, it didn't end up happening. Is that how you say it? Whatever. So during the lunch, we had a nice lunch. I was feeling like good, like really, really nice. I thought I was going to be struggling with food because I was not going to have enough taste of it and whatnot. But no. So far, I think my symptoms had been really held off. Like they've been really nice. I mean, not nice. I mean nice that they were not over the top annoying. They were just some of them there and I felt good enough. The problem was after that lunch, just right across the street from the place that we had lunch, there was like a kind of plaza where there were two stores that my boyfriend wanted to go to. They were both kind of hardware, but in different like aspects of hardware. I don't really know how to explain it. The point is that he went there because he saw that there were a lot of discounts and stuff. And so we went in and we just walked around the whole thing for like the first 15 minutes or so. But my boyfriend is in a hardware store the way that I am in a stationery shop or in a bookstore. I can walk around and around and around and see the same things over and over and over again 2,500 million times, and time won't go by. Like I won't perceive time going by, so that happened to him. And I was like, I went around and around with him for a little bit, and then I started to really feel like bad. My head started to pound. My joints started to hurt again. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna sit here. They had like a display of garden furniture. So there was like some nice chairs and that. So I just laid there. I grabbed my phone, started watching some YouTube while I waited for him. But by the minute, I swear that it felt that it was by the minute, my body just started to feel heavier and heavier. And it was just horrible. And by the time that we finished, he finished with that store, we went to the other store. In the other store, it was not as bad, but it was still somewhat bad. But he was just like in and out, like he just wanted to grab one thing because he was seeing that I was like dying. I mean, of course not, but I was really, really struggling. And so we came back home. He left me at the apartment and he went back to the shop because he needed to do some stuff at the shop. And for the remaining of the day, I was just knocked out. I plummeted down. I got home. I remember that I took, again, my medication, like my ibuprofen and stuff, and the thing for my congestion. I drank as many sips of water as I could, and I just crashed. And I don't know for how long. I don't even know when was the time where I fell asleep, but I just fell asleep at some point. And I woke up by my boyfriend coming into the apartment, like after his day at the shop, and it was almost 11 p.m. So I slept for, I would say, at least 4 hours, I think. And so, yeah. And the next day, which was actually my mother-in-law's birthday, she had invited us to have lunch again at other place. And we had previously said that, yes, that we were going to go. But on Monday, I told my boyfriend, you know what, I don't think I'm going to be able to, because Monday was pretty much me being bedbound, sleeping all day long. I remember that I woke up, to begin with, I had slept like 3 to 4 hours in a row in the previous afternoon and well into 11 p.m. And then I went back to sleep almost immediately. Well, no, not almost immediately. I would say around 12-ish, because we were just talking and such, but I fell asleep really, really quickly. And then the next day I woke up at almost 11 a.m. again. And I remember that I was like, okay, I need to get up. I need to take my meds. I need to drink some water, because you need to hydrate yourself as best as you can whenever you have a cold. I need to drink my water as much as I can. And I'm just gonna stay here watching some YouTube, watching some videos, but laying down, because I was really feeling it. That was my worst day. Monday was my worst day. And then Monday I wanted to upload a WIP and CHAT, but I was just not able to. And mind you, since I started feeling sick on Friday, I think it was Friday, I only diamond painted, like in 4 days, I diamond painted one section. That's how bad I felt. And that's what I told my boyfriend. Like, you know how to kind of determine whether or not I actually feel bad? I have not made progress on my diamond painting. I would sit down, I would put like 2 to 3 thingies like of drills, and I was like, no, I can't. I literally can't. I was with one same color for 2 entire days because I could not sit down and place them. But yeah, on Monday, I pretty much, as I said, I woke up and then I fell back asleep, and then I woke up again, and then I fell asleep again, and then I woke up again, and that was my day pretty much. And the last time I remember waking up around 7-ish p.m. and it was almost time for me to take my meds again, like the ones for the cold, for help with symptoms. And I took them and I started to feel decent, like quite decent. And I was feeling really happy because I told my boyfriend, well, if I end up feeling kind of similar tomorrow, maybe I am going to be able to go to Costco and get some things that we were running out of. And my boyfriend couldn't go get them because he had a lot of work in the shop, and then he has a project on his job and stuff. So I am the one on duty to go to Costco, So I'm getting tired of speaking. Like I'm my breath. Where was I? I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so on Monday night, even though it was one of my worst days, at night I was already feeling a little bit better. And I figured, if I feel good enough, maybe tomorrow I can do some errands. And yeah, the next day I actually felt way better. I didn't feel good enough to drive yet, but I still took my medications. I was able to do some light chores around the house, like some things that are done pretty much daily, taking out the trash, washing the dishes. I put a lot of laundry, and I was feeling okay. During the day, as the day evolved and, more meds, the meds got kicked in, and I took my second dose for the day and such, I started to feel way better. And I figured, you know what, I think I am going to be able to go to Costco, because it's not a very long drive from my apartment, but you go through important streets and avenues and stuff that you really do have to be very cautious about. But I was successful at it. And after that, I bought some hot dogs from Costco. By the time that I was done with Costco, my boyfriend was already at the shop. So I went to the shop to eat some hot dogs with him. I'm sorry. I spent a couple of hours there also with his best friend that he is doing things at the shop with. And we had a nice kind of, well, it was not afternoon. It was more so like the evening part of it, you know? Okay, I had to take a break because my throat was starting to get very, very itchy, but I'm back. And yeah, so to what I was saying, I don't even remember what I was saying. But since my last WIP and CHAT that, as I said, was 3 weeks ago, I've been able to do quite a lot of progress in my diamond paintings. Like, I remember the last WIP and CHAT that I did, I was doing Magic Broth Ramen Shop, and I was in the second or the third row of that. Since then, I've finished that painting, and I've also finished started and finished the mystery diamond painting, the summer mystery, the Crafter's Zen summer mystery from JD Gem Shop. And of course, I was not going to be doing any WIP and chats or any sort of videos with that because it is a mystery. I wonder if I were to do it later, like after the time frame of that mystery went away, if I would be able to. You know, because the image would be out and there wouldn't be any mysteries. I wonder. But I prefer to do it while it's a mystery for, for the majority of us who have it. But yeah. So I finished those two. And of course, I started this one and I am completing the third row. I still have a section of the second row to finish, but I am leaving that for later because I want to do an ASMR video later. Probably later today. I don't really know necessarily. Exactly when, but yeah, other than that, life has been pretty much the same. There are not many updates to give you guys about, my general life. The only couple of things would be probably that I have been reading quite a lot. On September, I started to be able to maintain my attention into my audiobooks for longer periods of time, and I was able to finish, I think it was 7 or 8 books, and I am almost completed. I'm almost finished with reading all of, well, I don't know if all, but a lot of Julia Quinn's books. Julia Quinn is the author of the books that were used to base off Bridgerton from. Like, it goes through all of the siblings. And I read them all when the first season of Bridgerton came out because I had to read them. I had to know. Probably now that I have not read them since. I've instead read all of the other series that the author has because the author has many, many of them. I am right now on the Linden Sisters. The last time that I listened to that book was, I think, like a week ago, maybe. But it's because I was very, very absorbed with the reality TV show that I was still watching by then. But I'm still reading way more than usual. I don't have much left of that one, of the first of the Linden Sisters. So I think I might be able to finish it in this next few days. Probably if I get to it. But actually now, that reality TV show that had consumed my entire life has ended. It ended on Sunday. And I was kind of happy. Like a few weeks ago, I was like, okay, finally, like this is going to be over. I am finally going to be able to catch up with my watch later list on YouTube, which is now over 200 videos that I have not watched. Actually, right now, the video that I have on my computer is a Karen Puzzles video that she uploaded a month ago. So that's how behind I am. And in my watch later list, I have all type of videos that I typically watch. Like I have Karen Puzzles, I have diamond painting, I have true crime, I have just random videos that pop in my feed and I'm like, oh, I'm interested in that. I have everything and anything under the sun on my watch later. And I was happy because I had a huge backlog of videos that I know are going to last me quite a bit, because sometimes I feel that since I watch so much YouTube, I feel that I finish all of the content that I have and I struggle to watch new things. And just then is when I start to venture out into either audiobooks or series on Netflix or Amazon Prime or stuff. But other than that, I primarily watch mainly and almost exclusively YouTube. But just when I thought that I was finally going to be able to watch all of those videos, I'm sorry, I realized, I became aware of the fact that another reality TV show is about to start. And no, I'm not a typical reality TV show watcher, because there's sometimes like these are so crooked. I don't care. There are some reality TV shows that are really, really like full of drama and stuff, and I usually don't like those. But the ones that involved a kind of Big Brother situation, even though there is some drama, there is nothing like relationships or stuff like that, you know, kind of like what I mean. But I realized that one of my favorite Mexican YouTubers is going to be in a new reality TV show, which is a new format that has never been done before in Mexico. It's been done in other places, but not in Mexico. And so I am really, really intrigued. If we add to that the 2 weeks after it starts, my boyfriend is going to be out of town in a work trip for 2 whole weeks. And so, yeah, I am going to be able to watch it truly. I mean, not 24/7, because I need to sleep. I want to sleep, but at all times, pretty much at all times. My only responsibilities is going to be keep my kitty and me alive and work. And that's crazy. And so I really want to use these today. What day is today? Today is the 8th, and that reality TV show starts on the 12th. Yeah, I have 4 days to watch as much YouTube as I possibly can. I want to see how much I can dwindle my watch later list on YouTube, but I also want to keep listening to audiobooks. We'll see how that works. But I think my focus, I want my focus to be, I need something to straighten this up. Didn't I have, yes, I have this. I use this to straighten it. Not the smartest tool, but I used it last time. It's just like a thing of meds. Okay, not the best thing, but it does some of the work. Oh gosh. Yeah, what was I telling you about? What was I talking about? Oh yeah, the reality TV show. So I don't know. And the worst part is that, I mean, I don't know if it's the worst part, but the gist with that is that reality TV show is going to start on the 12th, on October 12th. And it's meant to be 10 weeks long. So it's going to be finishing around the 3rd week of December. And we're going to be in Japan by the 2nd week of December. And then, of course, while I'm in Japan, I'm not going to be watching all of the YouTube that I normally would. So that list would be even larger. And so I am anticipating having like a 500 videos watched later list by the beginning of 2026. Like, who am I? Who? I mean, I am glad that I have that type of problems. That's a very, very first world problem, and not a problem at all, if you ask me. It's just very funny. It's just very, very funny. But yeah, I'm gonna try to balance myself a little bit better. And one thing is that in the other reality TV show, I didn't have necessarily a favorite contestant on the reality. as I am going to be having in this one, because as I said, one of my favorite YouTube internet people from Mexico is going to be there. So maybe if they get eliminated like sooner rather than later, maybe I'll just stop watching. But what if it goes to the final week? I mean, once again, what a first world problem to have. I think that I use that as a coping mechanism for everything that goes around the world, because I cannot keep up with everything that's happening 24/7. And yeah, it might be a bit insensitive, but as I said, is my way of coping and is my way of keeping myself sane in a very insane world of today. And one last thing that I really, really wanted to talk to you about, and is the last thing I think, is that I don't think I've mentioned exactly like what diagnoses I have, and I typically don't mention them because I don't want to serve as, as, oh, I have A, B, and C symptoms, and if you have them, then you have exactly the same thing. No, I don't want it to be that way, like at all whatsoever. But one of the issues that I have is that my joints are very, very hypermobile, and they're very flexible, and they are painful. And I sometimes use, not all the time, but sometimes use finger splints to keep that from happening. There are different seasons during the year where I think it's because of the temperature changes and all of that. There are many factors, of course, but that make my joints a little bit more loose or a little bit more painful or inflamed and such. And since I do so much diamond painting, I've noticed that for some reason that has helped me. I thought at the beginning that was going to be detrimental for my joints, but it turns out that it has been kind of and this was told to me recently, it's like my body's taking it as a type of OT in a way, like a therapy in a way, to keep them mobile and to keep them stuff. Because something that I remember that happened is that since my hypermobile joints hurt a lot sometimes, I would not move them on purpose. Like I would try not to move it's impossible not to move your fingers, of course, but I would be very cautious around it. But now that I do diamond painting, yes, sometimes I'm in pain, but I love diamond painting so much that I just go through it. And, even if it's painful, it's not damaging, it's just the way that it is. And it keeps my joints moving and stuff. The point is that I sometimes use finger splints, but the finger splints that I use are just some plasticky ones that are like a very, what color? Like this kind of color. I don't have them right now, but it's like this kind of color. And so a few years ago, actually, I saw that there were some splints that look kind of like jewelry rings that were really, really pretty. And I always wondered, like, are they too expensive? I really would like some because they looked cool and they're actually useful. I wanted them, but for one reason or the other, I never really got to get them. And recently, I was going through some checkups. I'm always doing checkups, and I don't mention them anymore because then my talks would be all of me. Like every couple of weeks would be, oh, I went here and oh, I went there and blah, 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 blah. But I don't, I prefer not to. Whatever. One of my therapists told me that they were going to be having, there's a company in the US that makes them, and they're like kind of like the gold standard for those type of ring splints. And they were going to be having like a couple of people from there come. And they wanted to ask me if I was interested in signing up for a fitting and to see if I was interested in getting them. And I was like, absolutely, yes, I want to. And so I did. Last week I got fitted for my splints. It's gonna take a while for me to get them. I think it's like 3 or 4 weeks, but I don't care. I'm finally going to have pretty splints that, the other ones, I sometimes knew that I needed them because my hands were hurting and they were being really annoying, but they look ugly. Like, they look really, really ugly, and I didn't want to use them because I am the type of person that I don't like to be asked, like, oh, why do you blah, 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 and sometimes that, and this is completely me, and I know it's there's nothing wrong with sometimes using aids and stuff, but I am the type of person who doesn't like interaction with people, and I don't like to be questioned. And I know that is not a question of like coming from a bad place. It most times comes from curiosity, but it's just that I hate so much being the center of attention that I would prefer not to use things that I need in the moment to move, to go, to get around, to prevent pain, if it's something that's going to be visible and that could be a spark of conversation, just because I don't like to be the center of attention. And that's worrisome. And mostly because with the type of things that I sometimes have to use, like the type of conversations that it sparks, it's annoying because I find myself pretty much educating people on different things when, one, I don't have to be doing that, and two, I don't want to do that, but then they keep asking and asking and asking stuff. Like, there's people who I openly share things about because it's people I care about, or people that I'm starting to like and get into, and that are starting to introduce into, like, they're starting to become part of my life, and I want them to know about me, but not random people, For example, with my boyfriend's friends, there are a couple of friends that I am totally open about everything, and there are others that are not as close, that I don't have that confidence with them yet, where I prefer not to say anything at all, or to mention anything at all. And I know that I am, like, if anything were to happen, I am being taken care of by my boyfriend and these other two friends that I really feel that I have some sort of connection and relationship with them already, kind of like that. So that's other reasons why I want these plans, because if someone were to ask me, I would be just like, oh, they're rings, and that's it. I don't have to over explain myself. Whether that's not the right word, right? I think not. But with the other, like the plastic type of rings, they do look very, very, they're ugly. Like, they're, that's the thing. They're ugly. So I would not be able, like, I'm not able to say, like, oh, they're the rings and that's it. No, because who would want to wear such ugly rings? I'm overthinking it. I know I'm overthinking it. I just want to avoid uncomfortable situations, and I want things to look pretty that are actually meant to help. I don't know if I'm explaining myself, or if I'm making sense, or if I'm being too petty would be the word. I don't know. It's just kind of the way that I have to cope with certain things. Like, if I already cannot do A, B, and C, then at least I don't want to be questioned about A, B, and C, So that's kind of like my view on the splint situation. But yes, regardless, I am really, really, really happy of getting those, hopefully sooner rather than later. I have most issues with my brain is not going to be able to translate this, but my articulations, las interfalangicas, proximales y distales. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be translating that, but like these joints and these joints are the ones that I typically have the most issue, not so much these ones. And I got fitted for 6 rings, basically, which is the 3 middle fingers and the 3 middle fingers. Those are the fingers that give me most issues. And depending on how they work and how they are, I might get for my thumb. Sometimes this thumb also gets kind of funky, but it's not very common. So that's why it was not my priority. And also because they're expensive. They're expensive. They're usually expensive. They're not covered by my insurance because it's something that is not very widely used here in Mexico. And it's a whole thing, you know. Insurances, I think, all over the world are nasty. But yeah, I'm going to pay for those out of pocket. And so that is a couple of $100, if not more than a lot of $100. So, you know, but I think they're worth it. They're worth it, and they're meant to last. Allegedly. We'll see, I guess. But I'm excited for those. And look at us. We did it was not a very colorful section, was it? Like, variety-wise, it's only a few colors and then the white. We're only missing the white to finish this one. But yeah, we did most of the colors, which were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 colors. 6 out of 7. That's fantastic. So yeah, I am so glad that I finally was able to do some catch up, even though, why did I take this tray out? I really need this. I know that I wanted to talk about so many more things, but honestly, my brain is fuzzy right now. And when I went down and wrote the notes for this WIP and CHAT, I didn't remember everything that I wanted to talk about. And this is really crooked, and I am so sorry. I just noticed it. Dang it. But yeah, I'm going to try to keep a better kind of inventory of things that I would like to talk to you about in case I do another WIP and CHAT like 3 weeks down the line. Yeah, I'm going to try to keep like a better track of stuff. But yeah, this will be it for today's video. Thank you so much for coming with me for another WIP and CHAT. I don't know which number of WIP and CHAT we're in. Regardless, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you keep having a fantastic rest of your day. And as always, don't forget to keep on diamond painting. Bye-bye.